Hi, 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 beautiful people. Today I am wondering about emotional armor, the way we protect ourselves in life, and the way we have learned to protect ourselves in life from the time we're little, right? It's our protection, it's our shield, it's our armor. I don't want to get hurt, so I've got my defenses up. I think it's important to know how that developed in us in so many different ways, but a quick example for me would be as a young girl being called to the blackboard for math. Of course, it was math, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, and the teacher was, she embarrassed me. I felt super humiliated, and I ran out of the classroom. And I remember that day going, never again will I be put in a situation in front of a group of people where someone's going to have the ability to embarrass or humiliate me. No, sir. So that was armor. That was where that armor came in and said, okay, from now on, we're going to avoid math. Don't do it. And this way you won't get hurt again, right? That armor protected me by avoiding. And I'm grateful for it, right? I'm grateful for the fact that something protected me, or some part of me, it protected me, excuse me, so that I wouldn't have to be hurt again. There are so many ways in which this has happened. We've been injured, and I think if you just went into your system right now, you'd be able to come up with 150,000 of them. I also think it's important to know that while this was a small example that did have big impact in my life, some of us have had massive trauma, really, really a lot of pain. And what we need to know is that the greater the pain, the bigger the armor, right? Doesn't that make sense? That the more pain I have, the more armor I'm going to have. And potentially there's layers and layers of armor. And I think the importance of getting to know that armor is essential in getting to know ourselves. So when I took time to be still, which I've talked about, and gotten to know myself, all these, pieces of armor, these protective pieces of myself really started to show themselves. My sense of humor can be protective. My sarcasm, my avoidance, my caretaking, right? While I love all these parts of me, sometimes they kind of act of their own accord, right? If you will, in a social situation, sometimes my humor comes out and I'm like, ooh, that was a lot. Like, ooh, that was a lot. Where if I had been more consciously aware, I would have let that humor come out. It's a part of me that I really enjoy, but maybe in a more self-led way, a more conscious way of saying, this is quick, right? This isn't like practiced or anything. It's just awareness that I want to bring this humorous piece of me forward in this social situation, right? So there's just gazillions of parts, I believe, in this universe. And I feel like we do have the opportunity to get to know them by being still and by giving ourselves time to notice what's coming up and maybe where that came from, that young injury, and to have some self-compassion there, and then to see what piece of armor or what part is protecting that young experience, and then to have some acceptance there and say, oh yes, of course I have some armor around me there. Of course I needed to protect myself. But once we know that we are in charge of ourselves, right? So if something came at me today that felt math related, I might get nervous, right? Because I'd feel insecure. But pretty quickly I would say, oh, it's okay. I might be confused, but nobody's going to humiliate or embarrass me here because I will not allow that. I'm in charge. And that little one inside of me is not going to get hurt again. I've got her and I've got me. self-leadership, conscious awareness. The beauty of it is that those parts are always with us. All parts are welcome. They're all living inside of us. And with time and stillness and patience, we can get to know what makes us who we are through all these little pieces and parts of us and the armor that has come to protect us, to love it, to understand it, and to be with it. Conscious awareness and self-leadership. I wonder about it almost every day, about what new part of myself I'm getting to know and what it's done for me over the years and what gratitude I have for it. And so I'm really hoping that you can kind of start that journey and wonder about your own parts, about your own armor. It's sometimes a little bit of a tough ride, but it's a beautiful one. Take care. See you soon. By the way, my wonderings today were brought to you by Dr. Richard Schwartz, the founder of Internal Family Systems. He's amazing. Look him up. See you later, kids.